Please be seated. As president of Emory and Henry College, it is my pleasure to welcome you as we officially kick off the beginning of a new academic year. At Emory and Henry, we have been welcoming students to this campus since our first classes began in the spring of 1838. We are proud to be Southwest Virginia's oldest institution of higher learning. And we are glad that you are with us this evening, either in person or via live streaming on the web. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce our college chaplain, the Reverend Sharon Wiley Wright, a member of the Emory and Henry class of 1994, for our invocation.
Good evening. I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer. We are abundantly grateful, O God, to be gathered in this beautiful space on campus at the beginning of an academic year. It is a day for which we have hoped and dreamed, prayed and planned. The sidewalks are busy, the classrooms are full, and we have resumed rituals that shape our identity as a college founded to pursue and promote excellence. It is a time of great joy, and yet we acknowledge that this is also a time of adjustment for us all. Help us, God, as we find our bearings. Support us, God, with your spirit and your strength as we assume the tasks and responsibilities of a new season of learning. Amen.
Academic convocations are a traditional gathering of a college or university community at the beginning of a new year. We are here not only to welcome and introduce new first-year and transfer students to our educational culture, but to inspire, renew, and motivate returning students and faculty for a new academic year. It is an opportunity for us to recognize a new and exciting chapter in the educational lives of our first-year and transfer students, while celebrating the start of a final year for our seniors who have grown, matured, and assumed leadership roles over time. To our new first-year students and transfer students listening online, we are delighted that you've chosen to become part of the college and of this community of scholars. I would like to thank all of the individuals who have worked so hard as we begin this academic year. I especially want to thank our student life staff and all of our student volunteers, our student orientation leaders, residence hall advisors, athletic trainers, and other student leaders. Would all of the student leaders who have worked this past week to prepare for our new undergraduate students please stand and be recognized at this time. You've truly done outstanding work. We also acknowledge the presence of members of the senior class. This evening, our seniors marched with the faculty for this opening convocation. Their presence signifies the importance of this group on our main campus. We look to them for leadership as experienced and faithful members of the college community. At this time, I would like to ask all of the class of 2022 to stand so that we may recognize you. Be seated. While we acknowledge the rich and diverse backgrounds of everyone here and the uniqueness that makes them special tonight, on this evening of our first day of class in this new academic year, We come together as one Emory and Henry family in pursuit of the college's historic motto, to increase in excellence. In light of that, it is a distinct pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, Dr. Kristen Krause. Dr. Krause earned her bachelor's degree from Sewanee, the University of the South, with majors in Spanish and Global and International Studies. She then completed a master's in Latin American Studies from Tulane University and a second master's in Political Science from the University of Notre Dame, where she also earned her PhD in Political Science. Dr. Krause joined the faculty at Emory and Henry in 2015 as an assistant professor in our Politics, Law, and International Relations department, and was promoted to associate professor earlier this year. She is a distinguished scholar in Latin American crime, justice, and politics, having lived in the region and conducted field research there. In 2020, she received the Excellence in Teaching Award from Emory and Henry and was recognized in 2021 by the Washington County, Virginia Chamber of Commerce as a Professor of the Year. I am honored to say that she is a colleague, and it is my pleasure to say that Dr. Krause is a friend. I invite you to come forward at this time, Dr. Krause, to deliver the 2021 Academic Convocation Keynote Address.
Hello, everyone. I feel so tall up here. So today, I want to talk to you all about community. It's a concept that has a lot of resonance right now as we figure out how we can operate as social creatures during this pandemic. Community seems like such a simple concept, but when we try to define it, it starts to get more and more complex. So what is community? I did some basic Googling online to find out both popular and scholarly definitions. When asked to define community, for example, by a radio host in 2014, students at Appalachian State mentioned words that most likely resonate with many of us. They mention unity, feelings of belonging, working together towards a common goal, people who care about each other enough to give each other love and support. Scholars talk about community with similar language, emphasizing togetherness and a shared sense of identity. Community is a shared experience, a common history, connections through communal joy and shared pain. We might belong to communities centered around place, like a neighborhood or a school, or around affinities like sports teams or hobbies. But within each type of community, it is the human connection and social ties that bind us together. Most of us are part of multiple nested communities. I, for example, am still in touch with the women who lived in the same dorm hallway as I did my senior year of college. We still see ourselves as a community and maintain a group chat and a regular video call, even though we are now spread across the globe. I also consider myself to be part of the global tango dancing community, a community built around an affinity for traditional Argentine tango music and dancing. And I, of course, am part of the community here at Emory and Henry. These are only 3 of the many communities I actively participate in, and I'd encourage you all to think about how many multiple communities that you are a part of as well. But the next question is, why do these communities matter? I think one of the reasons why the word community seems to be on everyone's lips, at least in public discourse right now, is that community provides both a structure for human connection and support and a lens through which we see the world. Research shows that communities combat loneliness and isolation. It can give members a sense of purpose. Community is where you can feel like your contribution matters and where each member of the group matters. It also shapes how we see the world by giving us stories about who we are. Some scholars call this identity-forming narratives. We identify with the stories of our communities, and these stories become our own stories. And in turn, we participate in the making and remaking of these collective stories. What exactly do I mean when I say that community creates identity-forming narratives? For me, it helps to think about the communal stories from some of the communities I belong to and how they shape my own story. As you've probably noticed, I am not from around here. I'm from Boston, and being from Boston has shaped my personal narrative about who I am. Being part of the community that is Boston, even though I haven't lived there in many years, shapes how I talk and how I interpret certain social cues. It also means I take pride in things that happen in Boston. I say I'm a Red Sox fan, even though I haven't been to a game since I was 12, and I definitely couldn't say who was on the team right now. I take pride in how I drive. I drive like a Bostonian, even though that might not be something that many people would take pride in, perhaps if they weren't from there. I love this idea that the essence of community is a shared story. It not only gives a sense of belonging, but also makes communities an important source of social change. This means that we can enact change by changing the stories we tell about ourselves and about our communities. This can be both at the macro level and at the micro level. We can tell stories that shape larger societal ideas, like the stories we tell about gender and gender roles. Or we can tell stories that shift local experiences, like the stories we tell about our neighborhoods and other places we live. Writing and rewriting our communal narratives is part of what humans do, and we are at a moment in time that seems ripe for rewriting our community narratives. This takes me to the main point of what I would like to say to you all today. How do we re-enter the communities that we've been absent from during this pandemic? I want to plant the idea that this is a chance to enact change, to shift our communal narratives to reflect the struggles and triumphs of the last 2 years. To take a look at our communities and think about what might benefit from reshaping and rebuilding. This is making me very emotional, y'all. It's a time that we can shift how we think about ourselves and our communities. For me, part of addressing this question comes down to being intentional about what communities I am a part of and how I participate in these communities. I often feel drawn to the idea of intentional community. Perhaps not the distinct definition of the term, but this idea speaks to me. Technically, an intentional community is usually a community of people who live together, sharing resources and a common vision of how they want to live their lives. There are many kinds of intentional communities around the world based on religion, economics, philosophical, or practical visions of how we exist in the world. But I think that you don't have to be part of a religious order or a member of a commune to think intentionally about community. If community is about having a sense of purpose and feeling a sense of belonging, then we can build those communal stories ourselves. If community is about knowing and being known, seeing each other and being seen, connecting with other people who we share something with, then these are things we can do to cultivate vibrant communities in our own lives, even if we're not living in a commune. I want to propose to you all that we learn to connect with other people by figuring out what is important to us and what is important to our community. Remember, our stories are intertwined. Our communal narrative becomes our personal narrative, and our personal narrative can change the communal narrative. It's a feedback loop. I want to encourage you all to build communities that are, in political science jargon, cross-cutting. These are communities that reach across religious, racial, social, or political divides and bring people together. To focus not only on the bonds that can be forged, but the bridges that we can build. I want to encourage you to show up for shared joy and shared pain, to recognize how these experiences connect us as human beings. As Brené Brown often points out in her work about connection, it's hard to deny our connectedness as human beings when we experience collective joy or collective pain. I'd like to think that our Emory and Henry community can be a place where that human connectedness is part of our communal story. Finally, I want to suggest that we think about adopting ideas that come out of the concept of mutual aid. Mutual aid is a practice of solidarity and support, a way in which communities voluntarily exchange resources and services for the benefit of all community members. It's a term that comes from 19th century anarchism, but has been used across communities and cultures. It shows up in underserved neighborhoods, labor unions, anarchist communes, and activist networks. Mutual aid relies on cooperation among members to meet the needs of the community, whether those needs are resources like food, or other types of skills or services like carpooling for groceries or helping people file their taxes. I think this form of cooperation and solidarity can work well at a place like Emory and Henry, And I imagine that many of you are already practicing forms of mutual aid without even realizing it. So as you head off into this fall semester, I want to challenge you to think more intentionally about community and how we can provide mutual aid to the members of our community. This can be in the form of study groups, carpooling to Target or Walmart, sharing books or class notes, or helping other students with less experience at college figure out how to navigate things like registration. I want to encourage you all to make the idea of mutual aid and intentional community solidarity part of your narrative at Emory and Henry. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Krause, for those most excellent and inspiring comments. And we thank you for all you do for Emory and Henry and for our students. On the occasion of this annual event, it is our custom to present a number of awards to deserving members of our faculty and staff. It is a way of saying thank you for their dedicated efforts on behalf of the college and our students. I invite Provost Dr. Michael Puglisi and Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, John Holloway, to assist with the presentation of awards. We will begin with the Travel Grant Award.
The Emory and Henry Travel Grant is awarded annually to the full-time faculty member or administrative officer holding faculty status who has served the college for the longest period of years. This year's recipient joined the college in 1991 and teaches in our Health and Human Performance Department. She received her BA degree from Emory and Henry, majoring in health and physical education. She then completed her master's in education from East Tennessee State University. At Emory and Henry, she served as head women's tennis coach and was named Old Dominion Athletic Conference Coach of the Year 3 times. Today, she teaches a variety of coursework, manages interns in the sport management major, supervises their student teachers, and serves as director of the college's Lifetime Wellness Program. I am pleased to announce that the 2021-22 Travel Grant Award winner is Instructor of Health and Human Performance, Beverly Shedden. Awarded annually by the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry of the Worldwide United Methodist Church, the Exemplary Teaching Award is given to a member of the faculty who has demonstrated outstanding achievement in teaching at a United Methodist-related institution of higher learning, and it includes a cash stipend. This year's winner joined our faculty in 2003 as Assistant Dean of Students, and today serves as Associate Professor of Health and Human Performance. She received her bachelor's degree from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, while on a full athletic scholarship in track and field, where she was an 8-time All-American, an Atlantic Coast Conference champion, and record holder. She earned her master's in sport management and a PhD in education from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. She serves as faculty marshal and as our faculty athletic representative. I am pleased to announce that the 2021-22 recipient of the United Methodist Exemplary Teaching Award is Dr. Rebecca Buchanan.
The Ernest E. and Elizabeth C. Maiden Award was established in 1975 in honor of the Maidens and in appreciation for their lives of service to the community, the church, and to Emory and Henry College. This award is made annually to a member of the faculty or staff in recognition of unusual academic or administrative achievement and carries a cash stipend from endowed funds. This year, we are pleased to present a total of 4 Maiden Awards to employees for the years 2020 and 2021. This 2020 Maiden Award recipient joined the Emory and Henry family in 2011 as Director of Health Services at our health center. A graduate of Vanderbilt University with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree and registered nurse since 1984. She previously held positions at Wake Forest Baptist Hospital, Radford Hospital, and Emory University Hospital. She also served as parish nurse for area United Methodist churches through the Wellmont Health System for 10 years. Married to Dr. Tal Stanley, this person has played a vital role in our COVID response during the last year and a half and continues to do so today. We all appreciate her ongoing efforts to keep members of the campus community safe, especially this past year. In recognition of unusual administrative achievement, I am pleased to announce that our 2020 Ernest E. and Elizabeth C. Maiden Award winner is Susan Stanley. Susan, congratulations.
This 2020 Maiden Award recipient received his undergraduate degree from Emory and Henry, where he majored in philosophy and English. He then completed a master's degree and a doctorate in philosophy from Vanderbilt University. He teaches courses in ethics, bioethics, and contemporary philosophy. For many years, he has coached our team that competes in the annual Virginia Foundation for Independent Colleges Ethics Bowl, and he has served as the faculty athletic representative. In recognition of unusual academic achievement, I am pleased to announce that the 2020 Ernest E. and Elizabeth C. Maiden Faculty Award is Dr. Ben Letson.
Our 2021 Maiden Award recipient received her bachelor's degree from Emory and Henry College and master's from Virginia Tech. She returned to Emory and Henry in 1998 to serve as Director of Financial Aid, where she quietly goes about doing her work to ensure that endowed scholarships and grants are credited to hundreds of students' accounts, and works tirelessly with students and their families on loans and work-study allocations to help make an Emory and Henry education affordable. In addition to processing a record number of undergraduate financial aid applications this past season, she is deeply involved in discussions about the transition to Division II athletics and how that impacts our financial aid budget moving forward. In recognition of unusual administrative achievement, I am pleased to announce that the 2021 Ernest E. and Elizabeth C. Maiden Award winner is Scarlett Blevins. Congratulations. This 2021 Maiden Award recipient is one of the longest-serving members of the college staff. She began working at Emory and Henry in 1988 in our business office and has been a fixture there since then. As an accounting assistant, she is responsible for ensuring that college accounts are paid on a timely basis to a multitude of vendors, contractors, and suppliers. Quite literally, we process thousands of invoices monthly, and during the transition to Zanzibar, that has been challenging to say the least. But our recipient has handled it with her usual grace and professionalism. In recognition of unusual administrative achievement, I am pleased to announce that our 2021 Ernest E. and Elizabeth C. Maiden Award winner is Sherry Lowry. Congratulations.
The D. Finch Award, the William Carrington Finch Award for Faculty Excellence, was first presented in 1989 in honor of Dr. Finch, the 15th president of Emory and Henry College. It is given biannually to a member of the faculty who has shown excellence in teaching, in writing, research, or artistic performance, and who has contributed significantly to the life of the college. It includes a cash stipend from endowed funds. This year's recipient joined the Emory and Henry family in 2002 after having taught on the faculties of Augustana College and Louisiana Tech University. She received her BA from Alderson Broaddus College in music education, a master's in music from the University of Michigan, and her Doctor of Musical Arts from the University of West Virginia. She has served as professor of piano, chair of the music department, chair of the Division of Visual and Performing Arts, and director of the McLaughlin Center for the Arts, before recently being named Dean of the college's School of Arts and Sciences. She is a talented musician, a performer herself, and has served as president of the Virginia Music Teachers Association. She received the Exemplary Teaching Award from the United Methodist Church in 2007. Therefore, in recognition of excellence in teaching and in musical performance, and for significant contributions to the life of the college, I am pleased to announce that our 2021 William Carrington Finch Award for Faculty Excellence winner is Dr. Lisa Withers. Our forebears founded and furthered this college 185 years ago out of a passionate commitment to learning, to the search for truth, to enlighten the mind. They sought an education of the heart as well as the mind. They sought not only to liberate intelligence, but also to nurture character, to enhance citizenship, and to enrich culture. They have labored, and we have entered into their labors as followers in a tradition of learning and service. We would now enlist you, the new students, as companions and colleagues in that tradition. Here before you is the mace of Emory and Henry College. Accept it as a challenge for you to become faithful members of this community and devoted participants in our heritage. We eagerly anticipate your contributions to our community of scholarship and learning. Remember in the days ahead that learning requires honest self-examination, disciplined exploration, and openness to what's new and unsettling. Open your hearts and minds to the adventure that is before you. You are now full members of this college, entitled to all the privileges and charged with all the responsibilities of an Emory and Henry student. And to our seniors, as you begin this period of your final months at the college, may they be rich and moving months of meaning and of academic enlightenment. This convocation will conclude with the singing of the alma mater, the words to which are printed in the program. Dr. Matt Frederick and our brass ensemble will lead us in the alma mater. The spoken benediction will thereafter be given by Lucas Biggerstaff, member of the class of 2022, followed by the recessional. Please stand and remain in place until the recessional is complete.
Emory and Henry family, over the past year and a half, we have been forced to endure and adapt. But through these adaptations, we have grown stronger as a community. And so, with that being said, let us embark on this next semester and be catalysts for a new and unified community, not just here, but around the world. And despite the troubles we may endure, let us always remember to keep our stingers up.
Thank you.